Veterans, your VA loan certificate of eligibility is not a permission slip. It's actually a wealth document. It's a wealth opportunity. And most people, they have no idea what they're looking at when they pull it up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to decode the entire thing. We're going to look at those confusing entitlement codes that determine how much buying power the government it's actually willing to back for you and your situation. Now, I want you to listen to this question that I got last week and pay attention to what's not being asked because I'll add that in there as well. And here it is. Weldon, I just got my orders and I'm starting the home buying process. I went to eBenefits and downloaded my COE, but I have no idea what I'm looking at. There's a bunch of codes on there, something about entitlement, and some numbers that just don't make sense. I've heard that I can buy multiple properties with my VA loan, but I don't understand how that works. Can you break this down for someone who's never used their benefit before? You bet I can, and I love it. Good questions, great questions. That allows for us to get good information to make good decisions, and that's what this channel is all about. I want you to think about whenever you're in your office environment and somebody stops by and asks you, "Hey, Weldon, have you heard about XYZ?" And it could be about life, money, finance, whatever it happens to be. Well, that's the point of this channel. That's why I encourage questions to come in so that way we can talk about it, learn from one another. If there's one thing that I miss from my time in uniform, it was those drive-by opportunities where iron sharpens iron, and that's the genesis of this all. So, with that question, what it said was, I'm a first-time homebuyer. The first time I'm using the VA loan. I have this document, but I have no idea what it means. But here's what most people miss in all of that. The COE, the certificate of eligibility, that's not just proof that you can use a VA loan. It's actually a snapshot of your financial backing from the federal government. And those codes, while they might be confusing, they actually tell a lender exactly how much risk the VA is willing to cover for you and your situation. So if you don't understand them, you might be leaving some serious money or opportunity on the table because worse yet, you might think that you can't buy when you actually can. And by the end of this video, what you're going to know, what we're going to have talked about, and that's exactly how to get your COE. And then we're going to talk about a method that most people don't even think about, and then what every code and number means on it and how your entitlement, how that actually works so you can use this benefit strategically. Now, I want you to pay attention to point 5, and that's where most people, they get confused. It's where the real opportunity is. But first, let's go ahead and start with the document itself, okay? And this is point 1, what the COE actually is and isn't. So, your certificate of eligibility. This is the VA's official confirmation that you've earned the VA loan benefit and that it shows your service history, your entitlement amount, and any previous use of the benefit itself. But here's just as important what it's not. It is not pre-approval. It doesn't tell you what you can afford. It doesn't mean a lender is automatically going to approve you. It is one piece of a bigger puzzle. And here's an analogy for you. And I want you to think of it like a military ID. So that military ID, when you get on base, it proves that you're eligible to shop at the commissary, but it does not tell you how much is in your bank account. It's the same idea here. Now, point number 2, this is the 3 ways that you can get your certificate of eligibility, or at least the 3 most common ways. The first one, method 1, this is do it yourself through the VA portal. And so you can log into eBenefits or va.gov and you navigate to your benefits and you can download it from there. It takes about 10 minutes. And frankly, the hardest part is probably going to be remembering your login credentials. So if you have those ready, you're probably set up for success. But you still have to figure out how to read the document. Then you have method 2, which is the snail mail version. And that is if you download form 261880, you send it in, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to actually come in. And I don't recommend this unless you have a complicated service history that needs manual review, but we all do what we have to do. Now, the third method, this is the one I'm a fan of, and it's have your lender pull it. So this is the one that most people, they don't think about. And honestly, It's the smartest move in my book, and we're going to look some more into this with point 3. And that is why going through a lender is usually the smart move. So here's the thing. VA approved lenders, they have direct access to the VA system through something called Web LGY. Now, they can pull your certificate of eligibility instantly, like while you're on the phone with them. But here's why it's actually smarter than just speed. Because when you pull your own COE, you get that document. And now when the lender pulls it, you can still get it, but they can see immediately what it means for your buying power. They can spot the potential issues that you might have that need to be resolved now, and then they can explain those codes in real time. Now, I've had guys, they pull their own COE, they see the numbers, and they assume that they can't buy what they want, but they were actually wrong. So, a good VA lender, while you're on the phone with them, they're going to have caught that, talked you through that within 5 minutes. Now, getting this document, that's step one. Understanding what it means, that's where a lender, again, who knows VA loans like the back of their hands, that's where they come into play. I know what I just covered here can be confusing and between pulling down your COE and trying to understand it. And so what I did is I created something called transition checkpoints. If you look in the caption below, you're going to see it. It's going to say start.askwellandhobbs.com. And you go there, you click on the little PCS tile. You're going to answer 8 to 10 questions. And that helps us figure out what a strategy could be for you in order to save money, not just with the lender, but with a real estate professional, because clearly you're thinking about using your VA loan to perhaps buy property. Well, that is a wealth move. And you have to set that up for success. And so, what I do is I connect people every single day with individuals across the country, individuals that I have personally interviewed based on your situation to help you achieve your goals. Anyway, go start.askwellandhobbs.com, answer a few questions. Let's book time together. That way, you get good information and can move forward with confidence. And lastly, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I've got a whole library of wealth and real estate content coming your way, and it's all in an effort to make better decisions in our lives. Okay, now let's get into the part that confuses everyone, and this is the entitlement codes on your COE. This is point 4, which is full entitlement versus remaining entitlement. So your basic entitlement, that is $36,000. That's the baseline amount that the VA guarantees to a lender. Now, if you've never used your VA loan, you have that full entitlement. Your COE, it's going to show that full amount available. But if you have used your VA loan before and you still have that property, or you had a foreclosure or a short sale, your COE, it's going to show remaining entitlement. That's what's left after accounting for the previous use. But here's where people get tripped up. They see remaining entitlement and they think they're limited, but that's not necessarily the case. So keep listening here so you can better understand this. And this is point 5, the bonus entitlement. This is where it gets super interesting. Beyond that $36,000, there's something called bonus entitlement. Sometimes it's called tier 2 or secondary entitlement, so you could hear it referred to as that. But the VA, what they do is they guarantee up to 25% of the conforming loan limit in your county. This is why VA loans, they're specific to you, and why having somebody guide you through it is so important, because it's different for every situation. But in most areas, the money that's available to you, that conforming loan amount, it's a little over $800,000. And that means that the VA could guarantee over $200,000 on that home that you're looking for. Now, of course, you have to qualify for the amount that you pull out in the mortgage amount, but they're still going to guarantee up to that 25%. Now, here's the math that continues to confuse people, and we're not going to get into all the nuances of it, but just understand these principles. Even if you've used some of your basic entitlement before, you might actually still have enough entitlement to buy another property with zero down, which means that you could have 2 VA loans active at the same time. Now, here's something that continues to make people say, "What?" That your VA loan entitlement, it can actually come back after you sell. So when you sell this property that had a VA loan on it in the first place, you can apply for restoration of entitlement. This gives you back the entitlement that was tied up in the property. The good news here is that your lender, they can actually handle this for you. They submit a VA Form 26-1880 electronically through the VA system, and they attach your settlement statement there showing that the home is paid off and that the VA, in that case, could update your COE and the numbers that are on it. Now, you can also file it yourself, but most people just allow their lender to do it because it's safer, faster, all done in one system. But I have had people that where they've called me and they're shocked when they found this out, so stick with me. They thought that they were one and done with their VA benefit. It's not true. Not true at all because you can use this benefit multiple times throughout your lifetime, and as long as you restore it properly, it would be available to you. Now here's point 8, and this is a common certificate of eligibility and entitlement mistakes that can cost you thousands. So it's almost a recap of a lot of what we just talked about, but it I wanna emphasize these because they're that important. Mistake number 1, and that's assuming that you can't buy because your COE shows that reduced entitlement amount. You might have bonus entitlement available, and that changes your buying power and the options available to you significantly. And this is mistake number 2. This is not restoring the entitlement after selling. If you don't file for restoration of that entitlement amount, it's gonna stay tied up even though the property is gone, not in your name. So you do need to take that action. And then you have mistake number 3, which is if you use a lender who doesn't understand VA loans. Now, they might be on that list of approved lenders, but perhaps they just don't have as many reps as you would like, right? So a conventional lender, and they do a few VA loans a year, that's not the same as a lender who specializes in them. The entitlement calculations, the quirks, the county-specific limits, it matters who's running your numbers because it affects you. And this is mistake number 4, which is not coordinating with the rest of your financial picture. That is so important to me, is because when you buy a home, that again, you're gonna hear me say this all the time. It is a wealth move, but it needs to complement your other financial strategies because not everyone, frankly, is ready to buy a home. They have some foundational things they need to take care of. Now, the real estate decision, it's a big one. It should not be the first, "Hey, I wanna buy a home," if you don't have your emergency fund squared away. So before you go get the entitlement, make sure that the timing actually makes sense for your life and your wealth goals. And these are the types of conversations that I talk with people that talk people through every single day. I love it because we learn how to set each other up for success. Now, if you've made it this far, here's what I want you to do. Again, click the link below, click in the description. It's start.askweldonhobbs.com. Go there, you're gonna see a little tile, says PCS, VA loan. It's all the same, it's meant for military, and those are some checkpoints. We're gonna ask some questions that help you think about what should be next and what to prepare for, and then we talk afterwards. Schedule that appointment, it costs nothing. My services are free. I love the conversations and when we're able to get to better places, better decisions. And if you need a real estate professional to help guide you through the process, no matter where you're at in the country, I interview them based on what your needs, and then I connect the 2 of you, and you get to interview them too. No obligation to use them, purely a do you connect and can they serve you based on where you're at? Now, book a free call right there. I'd love to talk with you. That's what transition checkpoints are all about. It's planning with purpose. I'm Weldon Hobbs, veteran transition strategist, and I've helped hundreds of military families make their PCS a little smoother. Good decisions start with good information, and I'll see you in the next one.